The fight has ended, and you all are starting to hear rolling thunder in the distance to the south.
We should hurry. We'll find Ari later, I guess. We need to get going.
We do. Tarkin, come on.
Okay. He starts dragging along a little bit.
I pick him up and put him on Mackie and cast healing.
Cast healing?
Healing.
You either have cure wounds or you have healing words, but I don't think you have healing wounds.
Not healing. I was casting a healing spell. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
Cure light or cure wounds. Cure wounds.
Cure wounds.
So as you all begin to travel, after she rolls that, I want each of you to roll 1d6.
It's +3, right?
Great.
Over my wisdom.
Okay. Yes.
6.
6. Okay. 1.
1.
Okay. So as you all are beginning to travel, you hear.
Take 20 health.
Oh my gosh.
I rolled really high. 17. I did
17. Okay.
So you all begin walking along the path to the south. Is there anything you want to do while you travel? For the next 3 hours, nothing particularly happens except that about 20 minutes in, there's a loud crack of thunder and it starts pouring rain. Or at least it starts raining. It's not pouring rain yet, but it starts raining pretty hard. You hear thunder and it makes traveling a pain. You all get really, really wet. It's uncomfortable. You start to get pruny after a while.
Is the trees helping?
Target takes a shower in it.
The trees help, but there's enough rain to where it's getting through.
We're just trying to go as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to do as you travel? If not, that's fine. You have about 3 hours.
I mean, Jael is just going to keep an eye on, make sure there's nothing sneaking up on us.
Yeah.
I guess Carthanax would keep at least a little bit of an eye out for any additional plants that might prove useful in spellcasting in general.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay, so just
And
regular perception.
Eloria, go ahead and make a survival check to navigate. You do have disadvantage, which cancels out you're in a forest, so you have advantage. The disadvantage is from the rain. And there's enough rain, and it's getting darker because of the rain clouds.
Survival? I believe it is a 19.
19. Okay, so you have no trouble finding your way.
10.
10. Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular, or just in general?
In general, because I haven't done a thorough look through of all of my spells and gone, what components do I need?
So you find 3 gold pieces worth of various magical plants, or spell component plants.
Okay, 3 gold worth.
Yes. After about 3 hours, you find yourself coming to a bit of a clearing ahead of you. It's a large clearing. You can see that there's a break in the trees, and it's about a football field across, and it goes to either side for at least a mile. From here, you're still 50 feet or so off, but at this point the trees are getting taller as you go, and the branches are high enough off the ground to where you can see reasonably far ahead of you. You're having to squint through the rain. It's hard to tell how wide it is exactly without sticking your head out into the clearing,
I see.
but you can tell it's at least a mile in width in either direction.
Well, Eloria, do we want to just go through this? Is this the most direct route?
I believe we're supposed to turn eastward here and skirt the tree line.
Eastward it is, then.
And then we need to be wary of something that has large shadows, that flying shadows of some sort. So some flying creatures might be around. We need to stay near the tree line as much as possible, I think. Though I don't know how much they'll be flying in this weather.
Okay.
So maybe do that eastward. Around,
Okay.
skirting around.
You
Stay
turn
in the
to the
tree line.
east.
Yeah.
You skirt the tree line, and as you're walking, it's fairly quiet. You occasionally see large shadows pass over the clearing as something very large flies above. You can't see it because of all the rain and stuff, and the shadows aren't particularly distinct, but it's still enough to where you do see it.
How large do these shadows look to be?
Really big. It's hard to judge the size of a creature based on its shadow,
No, but like-
the shadow itself could easily pick up a Viking longship.
Makes it really big.
It is very big. As you continue forward, I want someone other than Eloria to make a perception check with disadvantage. Because Eloria is navigating.
Well, I just managed to do a natural 1, so I think that's the disadvantage.
Yeah, you're too busy focusing on plants.
Oh, and
You're-
Jael is
I got a
also
10.
looking for looking for...
Yeah, go ahead and have her. What'd you get?
I got a 10.
Okay.
It's with disadvantage, this
Oh.
perception roll.
Oh.
Sorry. That's why I was like, natural 1.
Yeah.
I didn't bother rolling the second one because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, this is heavy rain.
11.
11. You all don't notice until it is too late. Carthanax with your natural 1. You are walking, looking at plants. There's a plant that catches your eye. You squint at it while you're walking. It's a pretty good pace. And you kick something, start tripping, move your other foot forward to catch yourself, and kick the same thing because it's really tall. It looked like a tree trunk or some kind of mound, but as you kick it and begin to trip, you see it move in a slithering pattern.
Wow.
Another snake.
It is a snake. And it lifts up its head, and it seems to have been covered in grass, like it's been laying there for a long time. And its body is about halfway out into the clearing. And it lifts up, and dirt and grass starts to slip off of it. And you watch as it lifts its head, and you see a cobra that's about half of its body is about 20 feet off the ground. And it's about this wide. I don't know if they can...
It goes well out of frame.
Yes. It is a massive, massive snake. It lifts its head, rears at you, and lunges. And as it does, do you want to do anything? You are in the process of falling. This whole thing happens in like half a second or so.
You know what? I'll put my shield up in front of it.
Okay, so it's going to make an attack roll real fast.
Carthanax is gonna get eaten again.
I've said it before, that is probably Reagan's goal in this campaign, is to get me eaten again.
I won't complain.
Though if he does, I think I'll probably just cast Spirit Gardens from the inside of the snake.
So as you're falling, it only gets a 13 on its attack. So it lunges. You can see it trying to bite around you and grab you. And you all turn and see this just in time for it to deflect off of his shield. You hear the scratching of actually teeth on glass because the front of the shield is magical glass.
Right, yeah. So
You
it
hear that
doesn't shatter
scratching.
under normal damage.
Yeah. And then you see one of those shadows float over it, and in a blur of motion, you see a bird come down, grab it in its talons, and lift off. The whole thing takes maybe 3 seconds, just, and it's gone. And you're okay. Good thing it didn't grab you.
Let's
That would have been a mess.
go a little faster and watch your step.
Other than that, the rest of it passes without incident. By the way, just real quick. So it gets a really high bonus to its attack. And when I dropped the die by accident, it was a 15. Just on the die. And it would have been plenty to hit you, and I was like, dang it. And then I rolled a 3. So, yeah. Anyway, you all continue. That is the only particularly close call on the rest of the journey, and another 3 hours passes. It is the late afternoon. It's a little bit hard to judge between, you're used to the sun being always in the sky now, but you can't see the sun because of the rain clouds.
Yeah.
And with every step, it gets rainier and rainier. There starts to be some wind. The wind isn't horrible because you're in a forest that's dense enough to where it blocks most of it. But the storm is getting pretty bad. You start to feel the temperature drop as you're going. At this point, you have rounded the clearing and you are heading south once more. And you start to feel the temperature drop and drop and drop until the rain turns to snow. The snow coats the ground as if it's been raining for a while.
His power went out.
Okay.
He's frozen there. And none of us noticed because that is so normal.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
So I don't get eaten by a snake, and now the snow is turning to sleet and freezing and it's cold.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want all of you to make Constitution saving throws against the cold because you are drenched.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes lots of sense. I don't
Yeah.
like it, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Normally it would take longer for this, but
Okay, well at least I have a good Constitution save. So 15.
15.
So
Okay,
I'll make
that'll
a
be enough.
Constitution save.
Sure.
So Aloria got an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jael 11.
Okay.
And I think Mackie is an 8 as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I rolled.
What's wrong with you guys?
So Eloria, Jael, and Maki are with the drenched clothing and fur. The water on you begins to freeze, and you can feel it start sinking into you. You know how your joints slow down as you get really cold? That's about where you are now. You each have 1 level of fatigue.
His con save was 17.
Okay, so he's good.
Can we look for a place to make shelter for the night? Since, because you said
we're
we've
still-
had 3 hours of travel, then another 3
It's been
hours,
6 hours total.
So it's been 6 hours total.
Yes.
But in this kind of weather, it's probably.
Yeah.
Gloria, I don't think we should keep traveling in this.
And you
this
see
storm.
all of her people are like,
Probably good idea.
All right, we're gonna find a spot, and I'm gonna find a couple of trees to chop down so that I can create a shelter.
Okay, sounds good.
I can do it magically, but I have to have the
There are
material
trees
available first.
everywhere.
Right. So I have in my bag of holding adamantium axes.
Okay.
So
That-
they're automatic criticals when you hit objects. By the way, that dagger that I gave you also does that.
Oh yeah.
I gave her an adamantium dagger. It does automatically crit.
Yeah.
No, I have like 3 or 4. I have a list, but I have several axes, like hand axes and other weapons that are all adamantium. But the hand axes would, I think, be the most appropriate for getting us some material.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you find some somewhat smaller trees pretty easily. Yeah,
With
it's no
automatic
trouble.
criticals, it's a much quicker process.
Yeah, so we'll say it takes like 15 minutes.
The 3 of us are huddled. Actually, probably 4.
And then it'll take me 10 minutes to do it, but I will cast Fabricate to craft us a shelter to block out the wind in the sleet with a slanted small chimney path so that we can put a fire inside the space.
Okay.
And then once we get everybody in there, we'll light a fire in there.
Yeah, that's no problem. So you make the shelter, and how are you guys starting a fire?
I mean, I've got... unless I'm mistaken, we should at the very least have tinder boxes with us.
Oh, sure.
From our
They're
adventuring
drenched enough,
kits.
so they're not. The tinder is not going to be useful.
Okay.
You have
I've-
flint and steel,
yeah, we
but
have
everything's
flint
wet.
I mean, I could go outside, since we're going to try and spend the night now. I've got options like wall of fire, stick some wood in there to get it on fire, because wall of fire does burn things.
Yeah.
I can get something lit on fire, and then I can bring it right in there, but at a safe distance, or the wall burning.
Yeah.
Dangerous away from us. Get something caught on fire and bring it back in.
Okay, sounds good. The wall of fire in this weather is quite spectacular. It's like steam flies up. If it wasn't covered in snow and water, it would probably start a fire, like a forest fire. Yeah, you are able to do that. You start the fire. You all settle down for the evening, and Tarkin comes back. Okay, so what you've missed is it's gotten really cold.
See? Nobody's going to be able to tell. Like, you saw how long he was still for?
Yeah.
You were perfectly still for long enough. Now you're just having freeze frame. That's a different thing.
It is so hard
But
to
you
tell.
sit perfectly still so much that none of us noticed you were gone until you mentioned your power was out.
Okay, so it's gotten cold and snowy and wet, and Carthanax has magically created a shelter and fire.
Once we dry off, I'm going to get out my Larkin Snuggie and my Larkin blanket and
Largrash.
Or Larkin. What is it? Larkin.
I don't know.
Largrash.
Wait, is it still raining?
Are you being
It's snowing now. And did you guys say you were settling down for the night?
If
At
we're
least
not
drying off
at
and
least
warming
taking
up.
a bit of time out of the weather, but if we've already been going for 6 hours, if the weather's like this, what do you think, Gloria? Is it worth trying to continue to travel in the cold, in the snow?
Well, we still have our winter coats, so
You have winter coats?
it's from
I don't remember.
From the wall.
From the-
You would from the
I
wall.
would have some. Yeah, I guess I would have something. Okay. I do
We
get
have
concerned
enough.
about being able to build another shelter if something else comes up. I do have some more of these higher level spells, but not too many. But if you want to press on, we can. At least let's take a short while, rest up a little bit, and then we can decide after that.
see how everyone's doing once we warm up a bit.
So we can
Okay.
at least take a short rest, roll some hit die.
Yeah,
I can
go
roll
for
that
it.
corrupted one.
Over the course of the short rest, you warm up enough to where you lose your fatigue. It was representing hypothermia, which it hadn't set in enough to.
Yeah, we stopped pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, being wet in snow is awful.
So with the corrupted hit die,
It wasn't a corrupted hit
Oh,
die.
that's right. You
Do you reduce your healing by 2 until the next long rest?
so each hit die that I roll reduced by 2, right? Or would it only be? For
No, they're as a pool, so it would just reduce the whole thing by 2.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was going to ask what if we roll legendary?
If he rolled a 2 or a 1 while having a point of frailty, then no healing.
Okay.
But only if that was the total.
Like,
Gotcha. So the first 2 points of healing you receive whenever you receive healing don't count.
He's not real though.
I don't think Tarkin has to worry about that.
Yeah.
no, I don't think but he's just
Yeah, and over the course of the short rest, you managed to warm up relatively well. It's going to take more than an hour, I think, for you guys to fully dry off, especially with how many of you there are, and it's just a campfire. If you had all stood beside the wall of fire for a while and taken that fire damage, that would be a different story on several levels.
No, but you would, unless you're going to tell me it would be different. My experience and my knowledge of dealing with being wet and then cold is you would take off as much of the wet clothes and put on something else drier, and then we can hang those on that.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I forgot you guys actually have extra clothes. Yeah, maybe the goblin.
He did have one cross right now.
That dries off quite quickly. So you guys change into warmer clothes, take some time to dry off. Your clothes are dry, I'll say, in like a couple hours or so.
At the moment, we're only spending an hour at the...
Yeah, that's how long it would take. So your clothes are still damp afterwards. There's enough volume of clothing warming by the fire that it's going to take a bit.
Do you have any spells that could waterproof clothing or boots?
Waterproof them?
Yeah. Do you know anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, the spells that allow you to control or manipulate water wouldn't...
Make an Arcana check.
At least that I'm immediately aware of. Yeah, let's use somebody. Anything other than the gray D20. That's not bad, but I think I don't have a big bonus to Arcana, so 14.
Okay, you have heard stories of a famous wizard named Logan Gilberteth.
The guy who wrote his wizard book?
Yes, it is, in fact. And you've heard that he was irritated by the fact that there was no such waterproofing spell and created one.
Created a waterproofing spell?
Yes, it's a very popular one for use among wizards with their spellbooks.
But it's a wizard spell.
Yes.
So I suppose we need to...
Oh my God,
If only he was. Oh my goodness. Why does he always have to disappear?
R.A. sneezes far away.
I'm quite familiar with this
Gilberted.
Gilberteth, yes.
Yes, we actually rescued him at one point.
And he pretended to be somebody else. Very well. Big hat.
Big hat?
Big hat.
His nickname is Big Hat. He's known for it.
And I believe he had bushy eyebrows that came out. You could see them below his hat.
Ah.
Yes.
Am I making that up?
No, you're right.
Okay.
Foggy memory.
Yes. It's like you see a big hat and you see a couple of eyebrows and a beard coming out of the hat. That's him.
Completely picture that.
So you all finish your short rest. What would you like to do? Your clothes are a little bit damp. The snow is continuing.
I want to look outside and see if the storm has lessened any or what the weather is continuing to look like. Is it?
Okay. The storm has not lessened at all. In fact, it seems to have gotten a little bit worse. Not a ton. It's not like in 1 hour it didn't go from raining hard to absolute downpour, but it's at the very least not abating.
Right. And where we're at now, it's not raining so much as it's sleeting.
Yeah, it's a mixture of sleet and snow, which is preferable to the rain at this point. It's more snow than sleet.
How naturally waterproof is our winter coats? Does it have to
Enough.
be somewhat for
They'd actually be very, because they're made, anything that would be made from animal hides and things like that is very naturally waterproof.
Yeah.
At least if it's made with any good quality.
Yeah, and these are very good quality. They were actually made by rangers who go into the mountains a lot. So,
Warm and they'd be...
yeah, they're very, very waterproof because they are designed to be used with snow. So, and also animals are designed to be used with snow. So, yeah.
Marvelous.
We could press on for a few more hours, but if we get into anything where I might need to cast powerful spells, I may not be able to make another shelter.
You guys are starting to get pretty tired.
I would like to go as far as we can because I feel like we might be a little bit behind schedule. We might be, maybe should be a little bit farther.
It's early evening, late afternoon, so somewhere around 5-ish.
Wait, we got up at like 8.
Yes. Sorry. The day is cut into
2:30.
4-hour segments. So when I said 6 hours, it's been closer to 8 hours.
Okay.
I mathed wrong. I just cut the day into 3 sections. It's been 2/3 of a day, almost.
Okay.
I would like to press on a little bit farther if we could. You guys are all...
During the short rest, Tarkin is going to try to make a snake skin umbrella.
Nice. Make a survival check. He adds his level.
10.
10. It does not go so well. Yeah, go ahead and you have advantage because Eloria is helping.
17.
Okay, Carthanax, what is it that Eloria points out to him?
You have to stretch the hide and salt it for hours before you can actually turn it into a leather and then do this.
He doesn't know that.
So Eloria tells him that. Eloria informs him that the actual process of turning it into an umbrella would take a very long time.
He just has a stick, has 2 sticks, and he poked it and does this.
We don't see your arm.
We can't see your arms, but I know what he's doing. He's doing this.
You're able to get it above you.
It hurts Aloria because this is really nice hide.
It's a very good hide.
Aloria takes the rest and puts it in Carthnak's bag of holding.
We should wait. Whenever we do stop, we should go ahead and get this curing overnight, otherwise it'll spoil.
Yeah. We will hold it in the bag of holding and cure it properly when we have a moment.
But it's in my bag.
There's no way your bag is big enough to hold this. I'm not sure why you have it.
He has been holding it like this.
You would have to. You're a tiny goblin, and this was a giant snake.
Yeah.
You got so much high.
That's true.
Okay, so you guys are heading out again?
Maybe just for the best of the
I think it'll be alright as long as if the storm worsens at all, we definitely need to stop.
I worry that it will just keep getting worse.
I do as well.
It is not blizzard level, by the way. It's just snowing
It's not raining.
with a bit of sleet. Like there's a bit of sleet intermixed, but it's primarily snowing.
I have some crazy ideas, but I don't think we have the time at the moment to do it. So we could press on. The days are long, so pushing on longer than today won't necessarily be a terrible problem.
Okay.
But how much are we slowed by snow and not being able to see?
Why don't you make a navigation check with disadvantage?
Nope.
It's canceled out. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Eloria manages to find a fantastic path. You do notice, actually, a lot of halfling tracks in the snow. They are partially buried at this point from the snow just actually snowing, but there are enough tracks around to where you are able to discern the path. You continue forward, and soon you start to see the trees become more sparse, and in the distance, through the snow, you see silhouettes of large snowy hills. By the time you see them, they're about a mile off. So as you continue to approach, what would you like to do, if anything?
Just keep going. Mackie and Jael, keeping an eye out. Warrior, just keep going.
Okay. I need someone other than Eloria, because she's doing the navigating, to make me a perception check.
Oh yeah, well. Only 13 for Jael.
Got 13.
Okay.
You and Jael.
What was yours, Carthnex?
12.
Can Mackie, since she's also kind of keeping an eye out for danger, not gonna say anything, but
Yeah, if she can smell things.
So yeah.
Sure. Actually, you don't even need to. The closer you get to the hills, the snow-covered hills, the more her hackles raise, and she just seems on edge.
What is it, Mackie?
As you approach, you notice there seems to be some sort of makeshift path going between the hills, and it seems very, very well trodden. Other than that, and the fact that there are a lot of tracks around, it's eerily motionless.
Everyone, keep an eye out. Stay alert. I'm just gonna press forward.
Okay. As you all approach the pathway that goes between the hills, a loud voice booms out from about halfway up the hill to your left. The hills are large, they're not mountainous, but they're big. They go probably halfway up the trees in height.
Hill.
Yeah, like Georgia hills. But these are much more round. Like they're actually like a round hill, almost perfect dome sort of shapes. But a large voice booms out. Who trespasses in my domain? And I need all of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Natural 20.
Nice.
30, 20.
Okay.
14 for Jael.
Okay.
And Mackie 14.
Okay. So you all feel with the words, there's this wave of magical energy, and you see Jael and Mackie shiver. Mackie's hackles are very erased at this point. Her tail poofs up.
Do you recognize the voice?
You do not. You do see there is a levitating disc about halfway up the hill that has a disembodied head on it that is looking at you and seems to have been the source of the voice.
Is it undead looking?
Make a wisdom check. I guess insight?
Target touches it.
He's too far away. It's about 60 feet away.
If Tarkin makes a go for it, I grab him.
Okay.
Is Tarkin actually going to try and run up the hill?
Inside?
Yeah.
Tarkin is going to grab him.
It is almost certainly undead.
Okay.
You got a, contested rolls? Because I'm going to try and grab. He's going to try and run.
Okay.
I'm going to grab him.
Athletics, acrobatics. Make opposed checks. Oh, actually, what did Tarkin get on his save?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Okay, okay. Yeah.
6.
He has a
It's going to be high because it's Tyler rolling.
23.
A 23? What'd you get?
6.
6. Okay, you reach, but this goblin is fast.
A little.
He jukes to the side and runs up the hill, and the head opens its mouth and booms out, "Stop!" And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
I got a 21.
Okay, he keeps going. Do either of you want to react as Tarkin's making his way up the hill? It's going to take him a dash action, so his full round to get up there.
In Draconic, Eloria says to Carthnex, I don't trust the undead head to be any good. I'm worried to tell them why we're here.
As you have this conversation, Tarkin is running up the hill.
How far has Tarkin made it up the hill?
30 feet at this point.
30 feet? Okay. Well, I gotta double check the range.
30 feet? Oh. Oh, Mackie's head.
Mackie
Because
will not.
I don't know if we've ever gotten into it, but
I see.
what immediate metal items does Tarkin have on him?
What kind of metal does he? He has arrows in a quiver.
Anything that might be on his,
Dagger or sword?
On his person?
yeah,
What is his
touching him?
Is he wearing any metal? He's wearing a loincloth, right?
The loincloth does me no good.
Yeah.
Do you have any metal in your backpack?
I don't think he is.
Well, in his backpack doesn't really help me.
Oh.
No, there's no metal on his person.
I'm sure Reagan figured out where I was trying.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going for.
I think that is metal, probably his belt loop, and
Reagan.
it's a bag where the clamp sets.
Would
Yeah.
you allow attempting to use spiritual weapon to knock him over?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon ahead of him and try and baseball bat him back down the hill.
Okay, go for it. You cast spiritual weapon. The giant blue-white dragon head goes poof right in front of Tarkin. I want Tarkin to make a wisdom saving throw real quick to not be just. Yeah.
That is an 18 to hit.
18. Okay, we'll see if he.
And he got 19.
Okay, so he manages to not get startled back down the hill. Make a strength saving throw against Carthanax's save DC. I believe you add +3 to that.
Natural 20.
Oh my word. Okay.
6 force damage anyway.
Okay, so he takes 6 force damage.
So, hit him, so I'm
yeah.
pulling that.
So what happens is the dragon head lunges toward him and he leaps forward, goes through the mouth, and the teeth clip him on the way through, and you see them scratch him. And at that point, the head whistles, and it's a piercing. I would do it if I could. It's a loud, piercing whistle, and you hear it ring in the air. There's a brief pause of silence, just pure silence for about a quarter of a second. And in a flash of red flaming light, there suddenly appears a stallion with pitch black skin and fur, smoke coming out of its nostrils, and flame for hair. Right in front of him, and atop it, there is a headless rider wielding a long sword in his right hand. And it's between the head and him, and it points the sword at Tarkin. What does Tarkin do?
Engage if you go towards the head.
He does? Okay.
Goodness.
He disengages.
Yeah, no, I know. The body uses its attack.
Wait, who are you disengaging? Or you use disengage, so I can't try and hit him again.
Oh, you can't disengage because you're already dashing. Oh wait, no, you can do both because you're a goblin. Never mind. Wow, you are so freaking lucky, my friend.
Your level 6 goblin is gonna die here in a second. And Carthanax is gonna let it happen.
Is that
In my mind.
So, how does it
Seems no different.
how does a 15 treat your AC?
It's a 15.
Okay, so it hits. It makes one swing for Tarkin. Tarkin manages to duck aside, but even as he's ducking aside, it arcs the blade to hit him. And I'm rolling so low today. He takes 9 points of damage, and you see frost form on the wound. And then the horse, its breath, you see a smoke come out from it, but that doesn't do anything at the moment. Also, as all that is happening, it also reaches down and picks up the head. So it's holding it by the hair.
is this
I was gonna attack the head.
Okay, make an attack roll.
through the valley southward, or is that?
Natural 20 again.
That is hilarious, my friend. Okay, go for it. Make your attack roll.
Is this in valley or is this on the hill?
He ran up a hill.
Okay, so we want to go through the valley southward.
Would that be between this
Between the hills.
Okay.
Like
Not seeing the zone.
distraction, maybe we should.
22 damage.
22 damage, okay. He hits the head. You see a gash form along it, and even as he finishes the slash, you see it starting to reform. The horse goes to kick Tarkin with its hoof.
What's the head?
This is so hilarious to me. It hits with a modified 20,
Okay.
and you see there's a flash of fire. I'm rolling so low. There's a flash of fire as the hoof hits him for a total of 9 points of damage. And then, what are the two of you doing as this happens?
Moving southward through the valley.
Okay. So you all begin moving southward.
Are we gonna have to pass by this guy, or is he?
He's halfway up the hill to your left.
The hill to our left. Then there's another hill on the right, I assume.
Yes. And there's several more in the distance.
We're gonna keep towards the right side. I will take the position most to the left and keep an eye on this pointless fight.
Okay, sounds good. Tarkin, what are you going to do now?
He's gonna charge, like, going. He's gonna make a predator check to see what you're doing.
Okay.
He has an 18.
Okay, so yeah, he notices the rest of the group just walking on.
And then he decides to walk the opposite side, and then just like start running, and then shoot an arrow at the head.
Okay.
30, then shoot again.
Okay, as he does, the horse is going to breathe smoke Actually, after him, you see it breathe a cone of smoke. The smoke goes in front of it, and the smoke is currently between you and the horse. And you hear the head chanting from the other side of the smoke. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
12.
12. Okay. Tarkin goes limp and then stops. And he hears a voice tell him to walk. And he does. And Tarkin begins to calmly walk up the hill and around to the other side. You guys don't see Tarkin anymore. I'll tell you later what happened.
Oh my goodness.
Should we go rescue the goblin?
All your characters.
The body, which is still facing Tarkin as he's going, holds up the head toward you all. And once again, the voice says, "Who trespasses in my domain?" And I need you all to make wisdom saves again.
Just to let you know, I got a natural 20 on that roll.
Oh, man.
12.
12? Okay.
10
You-
for Aloria, and 5 for Mackie, and
Can I tell what kind of spell he's trying to cast on?
Sure, make an Arcana check.
I believe Dryale is 18.
19.
19. This does not seem to be a spell. This seems to be an innate ability of this creature. You feel its will go into your mind and pull out some information. Not like removing it from your mind, but
Extracting.
yeah, extracting some kind of information.
Oh no. But not Dryale's.
Not Jaya. She failed last time,
Oh,
so doesn't matter.
I assume we just failed then.
yeah.
Yes. So it looks at you two. It says, "Why are you here, Lilithriel and Carthanax? What brings you?" And you feel...
Cast Bless on us before he can.
Okay.
Now you get to add a d4 to saving throws.
That's good.
And you feel magically compelled to answer. I need you both to make wisdom saving throws with disadvantage if you want to not answer or be deceptive.
Okay, and we do get to.
I'm gonna roll
We
it.
get the benefits of Bless.
Yes.
I don't want to answer, but I'm probably going to. Wow. Disadvantage, I rolled a 2 and a natural 1.
Oh no.
Disadvantage,
Disadvantage.
because we failed the last one, basically.
Also, you both notice now that it's calmed down a little bit with no one sprinting at him, and now the body is fully facing you. The body is wearing a tabard, or sorry, not a tabard. What's the word for that? Tabard. Yeah, it's wearing a sleeveless tabard with the emblem. You recognize the same emblem as is branded on Ra's chest. A circle within which is a shattered urn. But before you can do anything about it, you blurt out before you can even think about it.
What was the question?
Why are you trespassing in my domain?
Okay. I'm sure there's one answer from her, but Carthanax's answer is probably different.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to
and
remember
first
how
with
to
a
word
natural
it.
1.
What?
So, Carthanax, what do you say?
Oh.
What do I say?
He had a natural 1 on his save to not say it.
Does that mean I have to work?
That probably saves. I hope that saves.
It does, yes.
Cool. So the question is, what am I doing in his domain?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of the shrine. Got it.
Inverted tree.
Okay. I'm trying to reach the inverted tree. With a
He
natural
said-
1, am I compelled for more than that? Because that was all his question is.
Honestly, no, that's a perfectly valid answer. He looks you both over and he says, "You will pass through and you will not bother me or my servants." It does not sound like a request. And seemingly satisfied with your answer, he doesn't nod, but he walks away on his horse. The disc at this point disappears.
Are you still alive?
As he's riding away, he lifts up the head so that it's facing you, and he says, "Do not bother with the goblin. He will be joining me now."
Don't bother.
Make an Arcana check real quick.
Me?
Yeah, to see if you can tell what happened to Tarkin.
That's not terrible. 17.
You recognize the spell as probably something along the lines of Dominate Person.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. With that, he leaves. He seems satisfied that you all are just passing through.
Alright, let's go.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So that's probably... I think that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Next time we will begin with going between the hills.